Years ago, I had a girlfriend named Katie, but let's just say that didn't turn out so well.
These videos are satiric reviews. You don't have to agree, but don't bitch about it.
I hate this channel.
Hey there, I'm Social Injustice Warrior Infuso, and if I've said it once, I've said it a million times, wrestling is weird. And to solidify that statement, wrestling kind of takes the Frank Reynolds approach to life.
Well, I don't know how many years on this earth I got left. I'm gonna get real weird with it.
So let me take you back to a time. That time being 2002. A time where Kane was really coming into his own as a performer. His matches became a lot more fun to watch, and he was actually relatively loved by WWE audiences, whom he dubbed his Canaanites.
And millions of rock fans, or 20,000 Hulkamaniacs, or 20,000 screaming Canaanites.
Canaanites!
It was a very different time. He was the reigning tag team champion with partner the Hurricane, and the two masked madmen were scheduled to defend their tag team titles on an episode of Raw, in a TLC match. Once again, it was a very, very different time. Unfortunately, the superhero Hurricane met his kryptonite in Triple H, and Kane was forced to compete and complete the match all by himself, which surprisingly, he did. Kane would retain the tag team titles for the team all by himself, managing to beat out teams like the Dudley Boys, the team of Vitamin C, Chris Jericho and Christian, and the often forgot Dream Team of Jeff Hardy and Rob Van Dam. Unfortunately, despite this tremendous victory, Kane was given next to no time to celebrate, as who else but Triple H and Ric Flair hurried to the entrance ramp, where they proceeded to antagonize Kane and call him a murderer.
You are a murderer.
Now, some of you may be thinking, well, yeah, sure, that makes sense. After all, wasn't it Kane who accidentally killed his parents in a house fire he once set, as a child? And the rest of you who just heard that statement are probably thinking, wait, no, wasn't it The Undertaker that did that? And the real answer here is,
I don't know!
To be honest, I don't think WWE does either. But that wasn't what Trips was referring to.
This is the happiest you've ever been in your life, huh? How happy is Katie Vick? 10 years ago, you killed her.
Who was Katie Vick?
I don't know!
Okay, I'm gonna stop using that clip right now. No one knew. Nobody. It had never been a name that had came up before. But boy, oh boy, when we all found out, we wish we had the luxury of still being oblivious. Some things are better left forgotten. Some things are better left unknown. The next Monday, Kane came out to address the claims by explaining that when he was younger, he drank and drove a friend girl, Katie, home. Not to be confused with Katie Holmes. He'd seen something in the street and swerved, crashing the car, injuring himself, and killing his longtime best friend. And hold up, Kane, no, pause, hold, just 1 second here. I'm throwing the sign up to pause. I'm throwing the T up. We gotta pause this whole thing. Didn't you set your house ablaze, were thought to be dead for a decade, while you spent that time locked away in your real biological father's basement? Those two paths, how do they coincide?
This is wrestling, this!
But I didn't kill her. It was an accident, and I am not a murderer.
To find out, like and subscribe, as we'll be diving deep into the official canon of Kane's origins, in Journey into Darkness. Yeah, that review was almost done, 2 years ago, but, my computer decided to delete all the files I was working on at the time, so that was unpleasant. I will be getting into that, though.
Katie and I were friends about 10 years ago. I cared about her. She came to my first match, and she was probably the only one that cared when I was getting beat up. We went to a party, and Katie had too much to drink, so I decided that I should drive her home.
Triple H came out to continue to mock Kane for accidentally getting his friend killed, while a distraught Kane got next to no verbal offense in. Oh good, so it's just like their matches together. He gets no offense in whatsoever and everyone leaves dissatisfied. Perfect, you guys got it.
The road was slick because it was raining, and Animal jumped right out in front of us, and I swerved to avoid it.
The following week, Triple H began to imply that that wasn't the end of the story, claiming that Kane was actually a necrophiliac, and he had sex with his dead friend. Classy.
Why are you doing this?
A claim that I'd just like to point out, at no point in time was denied by anybody. Not by Kane, not by anybody who knew him, nothing. Is that just part of the lore now? We're just accepting that? I mean, Kane and dead people is disturbing enough on its own, but it gets that much worse when you realize that his mom and stepfather owned a morgue. Is he just doing this? So this probably means that this wasn't Kane's first funeral.
If you know what I'm talking about.
And I hope that you don't. Triple H would then even go so far out of his way to show what he called video proof of the incident. That video, of course, being himself decked out in Kane's mask and gear in an actual funeral home. No, hold on, pause. In an actual funeral home, giving a mannequin doll before declaring he screwed her brains out. I also want you to take note that this, once again, happened in an actual funeral home. Meaning that there was probably people attending a loved one's wake in the following room, while Triple H was getting the SpaghettiOs out of a mannequin.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiO!
That's, wow. Way to keep it classy, WWE. That right there, that's entertainment. I mean, I say that sarcastically, but your bad decisions are providing us all entertainment right now, so for that, I thank you. Later that night, Kane teamed up with his trade-up from the Hurricane, I'm sorry Gregory, I love you, but it's true, Rob Van Dam, to take on the team of H and H. The show ended with Kane tossing Triple H in the back of a rental car and declaring,
Now, I'm gonna screw you!
I'm calling the police!
Before speeding off. And is that admittance of guilt? What was Kane saying here? Was he gonna strike again? Was the big red machine looking to kill and then bone the game? You know what? Don't answer any of those questions. There's no answer that I want to hear for that. In typical WWE fashion, what happened to Try was never really addressed the following week. And to further class the whole affair up, Triple H would come out that week with a Katie Vick mannequin, dressed as a high school cheerleader, before putting her on his lap. Okay, the context that this happened in high school makes it even worse. You know, you're talking about a dead teenager that Kane was boning. Why do I watch wrestling? The Hurricane came out to reveal video footage of his own. Someone in a Triple H mask getting an enema. Because when someone approaches you with stupidity, just sink to their level. You know, just fuck it. Just go dumber if you can. The more IQ points you can knock off, the more you won that battle. That's how it works. And that was pretty much the end of the storyline. Thankfully. You know, in my head, I remember this lasting a lot longer, but I think that's just one of those things that, you know, comes with trauma. You know, it always seems worse than it is because you were the one experiencing it. So, me sitting in front of the TV felt like it lasted months. It apparently lasted like 3 or 4 weeks. But still, those are 3 or 4 weeks no one needed and no one could ever get back. Thank you, WWE. Rumor has it that this angle was originally intended to bring in Scott Vick. Or you might know him better as Sick Boy in WCW from Raven's Flock. That one. Yeah, I love that group, and I still had to... It took me a while to pick him out of this lineup. The feud with Kane and Triple H would eventually lead to a feud with him and Kane, or him and H, somewhere down the line. And that never really happened because A, the angle was horrendous, and B, according to officials, so was Sick Boy. But honestly, I think he kind of dodged a bullet on this. You know, it's much better to be remembered as one of the Flock members than for Kane having a relationship with your imaginary dead sister. Maybe it's just me, but maybe it's just me. And that was the end of one of the most infamous angles in all of wrestling history. And honestly, having to rewatch it all for this review, it makes me realize how surprisingly short-lived the whole ordeal was. But man, did the contents of that feud just make it feel like it had twice as long of a lifespan. Surprisingly enough, this feud still gets brought up from time to time. Which is weird because honestly, this would be something, if I was the company, I'd want people to forget. You know, just move on. Rewrite it. Or at least just don't mention it, you know? What good is that gonna do, guys?
Well, let me tell you something, brother. You're watching the social injustice warrior, V Infuso's channel, dude. So if you like the words that came out of his mouth hole, and you too want to become a V-tard, don't forget to like and subscribe, and click that little bell icon to get updates and notifications. Ooh, tell him what up, Mach. Ooh, yeah. Follow the man on Twitter, yeah, because we all know it's not stalking if it's on the internet, yeah. Join the madness by joining the Discord, and if you have a moment of time and a free dollar to spare, head over to the SIJW's Patreon, dig it, where you can request videos, get exclusive videos, and early access to content, yeah. Or go down to PayPal, where you can buy the shirts, brother. But most importantly, just remember, if you're not tuning in, then you're missing out.